that I posted about a week or so ago about the magic of the sus2 chord. And some of you commented on how I did some add chords, and like what I was playing was an add chord instead of a sus chord. And you guys were actually correct on that, and mainly because I was just trying to give you an overall feel of the sound of a sus chord. But I wanted to take a second here to explain the difference between the two. So you've got sus chords and you've got add chords. So what's the difference? The main difference is the third of the chord. And on a sus chord, you're not going to play the third. Sus stands for like substitution. You're going to substitute, like on a sus2 chord, you're going to substitute the second scale degree for the third. So you don't play the third on a sus chord. You do play the third on an add chord. So I'm going to show you here on this lovely Yamaha that we have in the key of C major, our C major chord, C, E, and G. You got the 1, 3, and the 5 right there. Okay, 1, 3, 5. On a sus2, you're going to move the third down to the second. And that is your sus2 chord, C, D, G. In the key of C, 1, 2, and 5. So a sus2, you're playing the 1, 2, and 5. Now back to that C major, if we move up to the fourth degree, that's what we would call either just a sus chord or a sus4. So sus4, sus2, and then just your major triad. Now on an add chord, you're going to add in one of those two. So if you had like an add 2, you've got that second scale degree with the 1, 2, 3, and the 5. If you have an add 4, you hear how dissonant that sounds? It's lots of tension because of all three of these. That's an add 4, which is the 1, 3, 4, and the 5. Gives lots of tension. And if you play it subtly, it really adds some color. So again, you've got your C major, your sus2, add 2, hear the difference? Then you back to your major, sus4 or just sus, and then an add 4. Lots of tension. All right, so hopefully that gives you a better idea of the difference between a sus chord and an add chord. Now, some of you did comment that some of this is not necessarily a sus2 or an add 2. It could be an add 9. And that's a totally different type of conversation when you start, talking about extensions. In these chords, you've got the 1, 3, 5, 7. It continues on 9, 11, 13, and so on. And that really gets into a totally different realm, which we'll talk about in some later lessons. But I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an idea and kind of explain the difference between a sus chord and an add chord. And you really hear that in a lot of pop music. Popular music uses sus chords a lot. Guitar players tend to use sus chords a lot, especially like a sus2 or an add 2. They've got this extra kind of shimmer to the sound that they're doing. And so both the sus and the add can really, help as you're playing. So hopefully that gives you a better idea of it. Kind of work through it in all 12 keys, and always have fun practicing.